Welcome to the podcast. As we spool up here this morning, we actually have a lot to talk about. Unfortunately, one of our co-hosts, Jacob Carspo, forgot that he had to give a speech to some Ministry of Foreign Affairs people. All right. Which, if you go to Copenhagen, you could go a block in every direction and you'd hit every ministry. So all you have to do is centrally locate yourself at a cafe and you could go speak at all of these places. So Jacob is out this morning. Wajeeh, the gay lion from Minneapolis, Minnesota, and I will fill in for him. And I feel sad because I wore a special t-shirt for Jacob. I'm going to explain it when I show it to you. This is one of my favorite characters. This is Ice Bear from We Bear Bears. And I saw this shirt in Ukraine and I couldn't understand it. I got it in Ukraine, in Kyiv. And the woman who had this, the place that sold these was dying when she read this to me, and she was just like laughing her ass off with Ice Bear holding a knife, intimidating somebody. And what it says in Ukrainian is "Skarjita," which means say this, say. It's imperative form. Skarjita. Palyanitya. And I was reading it and she's laughing not just at me, but Ice Bear, right? Because Ice Bear is clearly intimidating somebody with this thing. And I did not get it. I couldn't get it. But it was so funny because she just laughed her ass off. I bought the shirt. And later, when I wore it one day on duty, my Ukrainian commander was like, "That's hilarious." And I'm like, someone explain the joke to me. I bought because it's Ice Bear with a knife. By the way, my rifle in Greenland, its name is Ice Bear. So it means it means Skarjita Palyanitsia. So what it means is this is so Ukrainian. It turns out, by the way, this is the name of a Ukrainian attack drone now, Palyanitsia. It turns out Russians cannot pronounce this word because it has a sound in there that is not part of the Russian Cyrillic alphabet. And this is a counterintelligence bear interrogating a suspected Russian, going, say it, say Palyanitsia. It took me 3 months to get this joke. My commander laughed and laughed, and I was like, "What?" Oh, I go, "Bogdan, what do you what does it mean?" I get it. Skarjita Palyanitsia. I can read that. And he goes, "You're not Ukrainian. You're not saying it right." And it's a joke that Ukrainians, when they talk to people around Ukraine who were coming in, especially early in the war, and I got this like the week after the war started. Early in the war, they were very afraid of Russian infiltrators. Very afraid. When I came across the border, we got stopped in the middle of the night by Ukrainian police. And you see these guys had the patch, the black patch with the head of the Predator, from the movies, the dreadlocks. And the Predators became the police hunting symbol, the hunting symbol for Russian spies. And so they pulled us over and they're like, "The fuck are you guys going? Curfew's going on. Who is this guy? Got me out, stripped down all my gear and everything." And so I'm like, "What? I don't know." And they go, "This guy doesn't sound like a Muscovite." That's what he said. I heard he said, "This guy's not a Muscovite." And I said, "No, American, soul brother." And he said, "Say Palyanitsia." And I didn't understand the joke at the time. So Russians can't say that word. And that's how they figured out if you were a Russian spy, if you were in Western Ukraine and you couldn't say the word. they'd rack your ass up and throw you in the Uzgao till somebody do that. And it turns out there were many Russian infiltrators into Ukraine. There were commandos that were there to kill Zelensky. He had 30 some odd attempts on his life. So hilarious T-shirt. And it took me a long time. Today I saw it. I said, Ice Bear says,
The
Rita
definition of an inside joke.
Palianitsia. Palianitsia.
That is the definition of an inside joke.
But
Like that is
it's a great counterintelligence spy catching joke. And I'm thinking little old ladies from Ukraine are going, say it. Say Palianitsia. They're nice. It's worked out. So, good morning. Today is, holy cow, I've got to actually go back to my Substack. Today, on Black Man Spy, I'm sorry. Today is day 33 of the U.S. Russian war, phase 2.0, but is day 167 since the war has started in there. By the way, guys, I know it's a great inside joke, but now Ukraine has named a a long-range attack drone that can fly like 2,000 kilometers. Its name is Palianitsia. And the joke is Russian air defense would have a hard time pronouncing the name of that drone. They were like, that drone. So anyway, today we're going to go back. If you want on the chat questions have been posted on Substack for day 33. I call it the Catering Truck Cast because we are going to talk in depth about the plot to supposedly kill Donald Trump and how he chickened out, turned yellow, and left everybody as as decoys for their deaths. So we will see about that. So you can go there and post your questions. Also, yesterday I answered a whole slew of questions this morning, and about the things that we talked about yesterday. There's 163 questions and replies in there. So if you want, go back. If you asked a question yesterday, check to see if I answered them because I did. Some of them, especially the most important question, which was, hey, what kind of Turkish delight should I get? I am not a
no.
big fan of the Turkish delight with the nuts. I like it just straight gelatin.
Why
Wiser, what's
not?
your favorite? Don't know, man.
The nuts, Middle Easterns and
I
nuts.
know.
They use nuts like Americans use bacon.
I know. But for me, I want to get right to that sweet Turkish delight rose flavor or lime flavor and pour my coffee on top of it, let it melt in my mouth. I don't have time for nuts, baby. I just got, oh, that came out wrong. Phrasing. Wajeeh, I was about to say, I don't have time for nuts in my mouth, baby. Thank- Turkish or otherwise. But
Oh,
so anyway,
there is an American Lebanese comedy play that takes place in Dearborn, Michigan that I strongly recommend you to watch. And it's specifically about Arab dissidents from Lebanon coming to the U.S. And it's called
Gwendolyn, hold it.
MSN.
Gwendolyn, behave. Gwendolyn said something naughty. Naughty in the chat. This chat's salty now. Yeah, go ahead. You were saying they have these Americans in Dearborn, Michigan. It's a Turkish
That
show?
have no, it's a Lebanese American
Lebanese.
show, and it's
Uh-huh.
a very comedy play, and they do a lot of play on words, especially nuts, stuff like that.
Oh,
But I strongly recommend if you have an extra second and you want to watch like a
shoot us.
clash of
What's its name?
cultures,
What's its name?
Hussein, mother of Hussein,
Hussein.
Hussein. Methane.
U- M or
M. Well, Lebanese people, they just
Oh,
say they say M.
they chew their, oh,
Yeah.
of course.
M.
Same.
M.
Okay.
M.
I'm the same. I bet you they'd like
But
drag
you,
fantabulous when
I
Tom
believe you
Maserati.
would crack up. I believe you will be cracking up watching it.
I'm gonna check it out because I'm a big fan of old Egyptian comedy films from the 60s
Oh my
and the
God.
50s and the 60s. They're hilarious. Anyway, we've
Yes.
reached 1,000 followers. Let's get moving. And
Yeah.
you not wait, what is that last one? My dates never had nuts. All right. What kind of date you're eating those? Okay, moving on.
You didn't buy
We
a classical date with dipped with chocolate and filled with nuts. You gotta go to the
dude,
Middle East.
dude, they're playing on words there. Okay. Watch it. Let's see the price of oil, shall we?
You
And
got it.
this is going to be interesting because later today, you can see on YouTube, and I will copy it to Substack, my interview with Mr. Global, which I am having at 12 o'clock Eastern time today. It is not live, it is edited. So I will get that out to you as soon as possible.
There you go.
So, oil, bring it
WTI
down
is
just a bit.
setting. Yes. Actually, WTI is as same as yesterday. It's sitting at 81.30. Same thing with
Mhm.
Brent crude is sitting at 87.05. Marban is sitting at 88, is down $2. Last but not least, the OPEC is also the same. Yesterday, after the oil facility in Jazan was hit, oil prices immediately rose several dollars. But since then, it's been steady. Yeah, it's a roller coaster.
Roller coaster. All right. Well, let's move on to the significant activities of the day. We don't have any spectacular penetrations, but we certainly have a lot of talk about it. So first, Strait of Hormuz, Oman, Iran deal. There has not been a confirmed deal yet. So those talks are still ongoing. Remember, these talks are supposed to be bilateral. Oman is representing the other Gulf states, UAE, Qatar, Kuwait, Bahrain, Saudi Arabia. And they have already agreed to Oman's terms that they are putting down with Iran. Now, this is between Iran and Oman to come to some agreement. Unfortunately, the oddball out here is Donald Trump and the United States. And they could keep the blockade going no matter what is agreed upon by the Gulf state nations. More importantly, while Oman and Iran are talking, Iran is making it eminently clear that they're going to punish countries that keep using the Omani traffic separation scheme in the south. And in fact, yesterday, in the last 24 hours, two additional ADNOC oil tankers, that's the Abu Dhabi National Oil Company chartered tankers that were using the Omani traffic separation scheme, were attacked. The message here is stop using the American traffic separation scheme, or we are going to charge you a ship damage charge. Since the beginning of this war, ADNOC has had 18 vessels attacked. So that is very significant. And it's even more significant because Iraq has created a shuttle scheme where they are bringing tankers down from Qasr, right, through Bubiyan Island, past Kuwait, down Saudi Arabia, Bahrain, around Qatar, and they are transshipping oil to the United Arab Emirates. And then that oil is being put into the Habshan Fujairah pipeline and then picked up by Iraqi customers on the Indian Ocean side, bypassing the Strait of Hormuz. And one of the things that's actually happening here that you have to give, eh, you have to give Trump credit. You can't give Trump credit for any of this. He destroyed an ecosystem that was going fine for decades, centuries, actually. But These sanctions, Iran's closing in the Strait of Hormuz, has created a revolution in the Gulf states trying to move oil in other ways. And I'm going to talk about
Yep.
that with Mr. Global today. The Habshan Fujairah pipeline. This is a good example of money. You guys remember I told you my late wife, God bless her, was a mega projects landscape architect for $4 billion budget in the UAE, 50,000 Pakistani workers. When they want to throw money at a project and get that thing moving, they can get it moving fast. It turns out they are creating a second Habshan Fujairah pipeline. And we had said that early in the war is like, y'all better start building right now. And the UAE government was, Malcolm said build. So they started quietly building a second pipeline with greater capacity than the first pipeline. And don't forget, the first pipeline, the Habshan pumping facility, was hit by drones and put out of commission for a while. They are throwing engineering, money, and everything at it. They are 50% complete building a second pipeline, a parallel pipeline.
If you would, here's the thing. A lot of people, when they ask, like, what is the Gulf state response? What do you think they will do next? Do you think what steps? Everyone is thinking like mostly military, mostly alliances, right? But in reality, their main thing now is food, money, the way they have their pockets income. So the strategy has shifted dramatically from relying. They all now do not want to rely at all at one source or one strait or another strait. They want to have as many options of spreading their oil as possible,
Diversify.
regardless of how inconvenient and how costly it is. Because regardless of how inconvenient and costly it is still cheaper than whatever Iran is doing right now.
Yep. And when you consider that they have literally lost trillions of dollars of income because of Donald Trump.
Yeah.
Trillions. And I have no idea why these guys think that they should keep working with him. If you come into my house and you set fire to my stacks of cash, right, and cause my house to be damaged and drive-by by, a thug gang that will continue to stay here after you lose, I will not be working with you. But, the United States can't protect them. They need resources from the United States, but they've proven they can't protect them. But we're going to talk about that in a little bit because the Iranians have something to say about that. You mentioned Scott Bessent in the free show. We're going to talk about that. Scott Bessent, the U.S. Treasury Secretary, is apparently the point man on a new strategy that the Iranians are going to execute. And this strategy, hold on for a second, I just need to go back through my history. This new strategy apparently is based on something we heard about 2 months ago and discussed extensively. Israel apparently, all right, I have to keep saying these things for legal purposes, right? Ostensibly, or it is alleged. Israel apparently went to the United States 2 months ago and said, listen, we know you're doing your blockade. Halas, I'm sure it's awesome. But you have 7 countries which surround Iran that are doing trade with them, and it's not impacting their economy. Right? Yeah. All you're doing is stopping their oil. That's not, these people have the resiliency to put up with that, but they don't have the resiliency to put up with every country around them blockading them. So let's get a U.S. blockade of every country around Iran. And if those of you who were on the show at the time might recall how we all fell on the floor laughing. Because Pakistan, which is one of the biggest trading partners, has opened 6, not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, not 5, but 6 different border checkpoints, allowing oil to come through in trucks by the billions, right, of how as much oil capacity as they can send over there. So that's just Pakistan. Not only that, ships that cannot get into Iran to sell goods are offloading in Karachi. And from Karachi, they are putting them on trucks and they go straight, 20, 30 kilometers to Chabahar. And from Chabahar, they get distributed out into Iran. Every war is an opportunity to make money, people. That is an economic truism. I don't care what you're talking about, right? No matter whether it's black market, white market, gray market, there is always someone who is going to need something, whether it's microwaves, plate glass, whatever you want. There's going to be somebody that's going to want to do that, that's going to want to make money off of that. If you're a good trader, you make money off of everything, right? You just sell everything. And then you can't tell me right now that in Karachi, Pakistan, every company that sells foodstuffs and all these other things is not trucking everything straight to the Iranian border, right? And that's just Pakistan. To the north, Afghanistan. They're not going to be moving heroin, but they certainly will be moving whatever foods that they have or wheat or whatever that is in excess that you can make $1 off of. You're going to sell it to Iran. To the north, Turkmenistan might be one of the few countries that the United States may be able to put pressure on Iran and get them to, stop selling food there. But these people have been trading across the Silk Road for millennia, not centuries, millennia, right? Someone just wrote it, right? Jeff Bratton said, Silk Road from China. Halas! You're going to cut off Marco fucking Polo went on this route from west to east and from east to west, following the trade routes. There's a reason people make money. Trade with each other. War is just trade and pressure for trade by other means. So I have a very hard time believing that we're going to be able to just out of nowhere, drop this, drop an embargo across them. Just because Donald Trump says so. Further on, as you go from Turkmenistan, which is in the entire northeast corner, Afghanistan borders on the entire east. Let me just show it to you on a map, right? Because we have good coverage today. Let me show you on a map, which shows you, it's just madness. This plan to try to blockade Iran on all sides. Now, Scott Bessent hasn't said that. What Scott Bessent said was the United States is going to be implementing the greatest embargo of all time and sanctions, and they will not be able to do any trade with anyone whatsoever. Well, the only way you're going to be able to do that is if you have a multinational trade embargo. So what do we got here? Let me get my blue pen. Do I have my blue pen this morning? I don't, so I have to use the black pen. Here is Afghanistan. Down here, Pakistan. All those borders are open. Afghanistan, bringing raw materials from Tajikistan up here. Kazakhstan, further back. Uzbekistan, way back over here. Somebody says use a screwdriver. How about I use one of the oldest items I ever bought? This is an actual knife opener from Hong Kong. All of these places are bringing foodstuffs and materials to Iran and getting it at exorbitant prices. So, Urban Hermit says it. Geography doesn't lie. Okay? And what this is, if you look at that map, Iran is a crossroad for all trade coming from the stands, all the way from China through Tajikistan, Uzbekistan, Kazakhstan, Turkmenistan, Pakistan. Every damn stand is selling what they have, right? Even if you wanted to get it from India, you could go around there, right? Bypass Pakistan and get it into Iran. Then to the north, everything north of my pen is Russia.
Yes, Caspian Sea.
The entire top of the screen is Russia, right? It's the Caspian Sea. So you have the entirety of southern Russia up there that is going to now isn't making any money from the Russian-Ukraine war. They're going to put it on boats and bring it down to Iran. Even though they have tight relations with Azerbaijan, which is right here, they have a massive Azeri population down here. So they're going to do business, right? They're all going to do business. Even tiny little Armenia right here, they hate Azerbaijan, so they'll sell stuff. Georgians will sell stuff. And over here to the west is Turkey. And the Turks, you saw how we talked about yesterday, how the Turks sold all of those lifeboats and cheap non-floating life vests to the Syrians, right, to make a buck, and Iraq. So somebody explain to me, seriously, who exactly is going to be doing this blockade of Iran, the land blockade? Because Scott Bessent didn't say it yesterday, but that is exactly what he's talking about. Here's the exact quote that he made. He said,
Well, here's what Pete Texas said.
do you have it? Hegseth or
Pete
Scott
Texas,
Bessent?
I have U.S. Secretary of Defense Pete Texas said the U.S. can sustain its blockade against Iran indefinitely.
Yeah, he would say that, wouldn't he? He can say that all day long. That doesn't mean a damn thing, okay? No, I got to tell you something. If the U.S. Navy complaining has shown us anything, we can't, okay? History, people, history. This blockade bullshit was tried in 1952 when the Iranians nationalized the oil. And back in 1952, Britain still had a pretty big navy left over from World War II. The United States participated in it also, and it did not work. It did
I
not work.
found
We
the statement.
blockaded Iran. Oh, Scott Bessent, I'm looking at it right here.
The U.S.
Scott
Treasury.
Bessent said, I was getting ready to read it. Watch this space for more announcements coming next week because we are going to apply measures like have never been seen in the history of economic isolation on a country. It will be a combination of economic isolation like the world has never seen before and the continued blockade of the Strait of Hormuz that will keep anything from going in or out of Iranian ports. Have you never heard of the siege of Jerusalem? Have you never heard of the siege of the city of Tyre? Or when you surround a city and literally starve people to the point where they will eat corpses of other people, that's an economic blockade. Oh, mashallah. Al-Jahad.
أقرأ.
Al-Jahad. You know, this reminds me of a line from the famous sages. I was just going to say in Arabic, right? Al-jahlun la ya'arifum majahid, right?
الجاهلون لا يعرفون إلا الجهل.
The- it-
The ignorant doesn't know nothing but ignorance.
no, that they are ignorant.
Well,
The
there was
ignorant,
there was a
don't
sheikh
know they're ignorant.
there was a sheikh that was asked. He said, "How do you debate someone who's ignorant?" He said, "You don't. You lose." Eddie,
Well, even though I got that quote, I gave you that quote in Arabic, it actually came from the two great philosophers. We used to make big jokes when we were at language school, and what we would do is we would take famous quotes or something from something stupid in English, and we would translate it into Arabic. And there used to be this cartoon called Ren and Stimpy. Ren and Stimpy were these two. One was a cat and the other was a chihuahua. And they had a famous line in there that I just took, and changed, which was, all the ugly animals. They don't know they're ugly. No, same thing. The ignorant,
Usually they're
forgot.
so ugly, they're cute.
They don't know they're stupid. They just are stupid, right? And I used it with jahilun means the ones who are ignorant of Allah, right? That's what jahil means, right? Not necessarily dumb, but their ignorance leads them to be pagans. So in this case, they don't know they're stupid. They just are. And that's why when I hear Scott Bessent and others say we are going to have the greatest blockade in the history of mankind. Okay. Has he ever heard of this thing called World War II? Okay. We surrounded Japan with fucking submarines and airplanes and the great war of the Marus, where every merchant ship that got on water received a torpedo. We were starving that country, starving. In places in Okinawa, there were rumors of cannibalism and things like that. Who does he think he is? When the Japanese went into Manchuria, went into China, and ate everything, and they starved entire cities like Shanghai and Tianjin. It's just insulting to me as somebody who reads history how fucking stupid you are. So for Scott Bessent, so that's the plan, people. The United States is shifting its strategy from military warfare to economic warfare. And I don't know
Like
what
that's
they
gonna make a
think.
difference.
Yeah, but watch it. They think they can outlast the Iranians. That's what they're
The
doing.
Iranians that have been there for 7,000 years, that has
Six
had,
millennia.
yeah,
Millennia.
they've been having fortresses. They have they're seasoned fighters. They have been involved in most of the Middle Eastern wars. They have already been seasoned to being economically pressured by previous U.S. presidents for the last 40 years. Iranians have been preparing for moments like this all their life. Meanwhile, the global economy wasn't and isn't ready for this whole nightmare to keep going. In fact,
The-
everyone is begging it to end.
I have to tell you, Brett Erickson, who I had on my podcast last week, he's a economic intelligence analyst, a young guy, but he's very sharp, and he's been saying Iran does have stressors. There are stressors on the Iranian economy, but
Mhm.
the gamble here is very simple. It tells me if I were, Spanish intelligence or if I were Danish intelligence or some other agency, I'd say, hey, y'all, we need to be prepared for the long haul. Apparently, the United States has no problem crashing the global economy. They don't give a fuck about the global
Yeah,
economy going into
that's
recession
right.
anymore. And it also tells me the United States is going to break through its bottom, its ceiling, or its hard deck, not ceiling, the hard deck of 270 million barrels in its reserve. Remember, 270, that's the number the United States Armed Forces needs to fight a war. And this tells me they've decided they're going to wait out the Iranians and that they are going to use the Strategic Petroleum Reserve past 270. We're at 299 a week ago, right? 298, I believe. And they're dropping 5 million barrels a week. So we said that by the first, second week of September, we're going to be decision making. And so
I can't
he is
wait to
sitting
see
there.
your interview with Mr. Global.
Oh, that's going to be, I'm not going to say a word. I'm just going to put my hands in my head. I'm going to go fucking talk. He's gonna scare me. I'm gonna get my little I got my teddy bear. I've got my Alan Turing teddy bear from Bletchley Park. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna show you. This is what I'm gonna do with Mr. Global, right? I'm gonna run back here to my cabinet and I'm gonna grab my Alan Turing teddy bear from Bletchley Park. I have a bad feeling I'm going to be sitting there with my Alan Turing teddy bear from Bletchley Park, and I'm going to go, sucking my,
Oh my God. Yeah, I
talking.
can't.
You're scaring Alan Turing. I have a bad
Did you?
feeling that guy is not going to bring us any good news. By the way, for those of you who actually believe it, that is actually a Bletchley Park teddy bear that they sell in the gift shop with Alan Turing. He wears a tie.
He's got a
And he's
tie and jacket
and
ready
he's
for winter in UK.
and he's a gay bear, right? Alan Turing. Like somebody said, Alan
That hair
Turing was
goes like
gay.
this now.
Somebody goes, Alan Turing was gay. All right. Here's my response. This was my response my whole career. I don't give a fuck. Can he speak German and break codes? Get the fucking work. So anyway, yes, one of the worst movies I've ever seen, Imitation Game. Worse in the sense that it shamed me that I had to watch that stupid shit. Because I had my own Alan Turing when I was in the Navy, and that guy was brilliant. Level 5 Arabic linguist. His Arabic was better than yours, Watch. Better than yours. He
Yeah,
had an
you let him know
education
what's
of
up.
he's a white guy, blonde-haired, blue-eyed, level 5 Arabic linguist, which was master's degree native.
Wow.
Master's degree owning native. I
I've
called
met
him.
I've met quite few American diplomats that I was quite impressed with their level of understanding and expertise when it came to Arabic. They were better than me in some ways, but they couldn't do the tafsir better than me for sure. But
Of course
uh,
they couldn't, but I'm just saying, and wow, 40 pounds. Alan Turing, you're expensive. So anyway, I have a bad feeling me and Mr. Global. I'm going to need my binky for Mr. Global because that guy
you
is
should
going to
keep
hit
that
us with the
close.
truth today. He's going to hit our ass with the truth. The show, it's not live. We are recording it for the Black Man Spy podcast, and that should be up later this evening. And I will link it to Substack. Circassian, yeah. This guy was Circassian, blonde-haired, blue-eyed, just like oof, you know what I'm talking about, Lawrence of Arabia, Sir T.E. Lawrence.
If you
Yeah,
if
yeah, yeah,
you
yeah.
if you don't mind, Malcolm,
Hello.
it seems to me like the cycle of confusion is continuing with our supreme leader, His Majesty, may God extend his life, Baba Trump, um, where the the objectives keep changing from decapitation to regime change to dismantling the military to now JD Vance is saying has outlined Washington's key objective in the Iran conflict as keeping energy prices stable for Americans, preventing Tehran from acquiring nuclear weapons and securing stronger U.S. position. So, which is it? Are we trying to achieve? Genuinely, like,
Well,
what are we trying to achieve?
if this guy was sent to destroy us, he's doing an awesome job. Listen, Watch, we got to move on. There's a couple of other things here before we get to questions. First, hey, U.S. Central Command, according to Israeli Channel 13, which right now is being an outlet for the Netanyahu government, says that Admiral Bradley Cooper, or Scott Cooper, whatever, Bradley Cooper, Admiral Cooper came to Israel and is pushing that U.S. Central Command be unleashed against the Iranians. And now maybe this is just a trial balloon to make it look like that we're ready to go at the Iranians again, in combination with the economic warfare campaign that they're trying. But that's what they're saying. And I don't believe that the United States, we don't have the capacity. We don't have the capacity to change the Iranians' mind. Um,
I thought they
Guess
already
what?
unleashed center. I thought they already unleashed Center Command 5 months ago.
No, no.
What else are they gonna unleash?
Now we will really unleash Central Command. Really, too much unleash. Now, before it was little unleash.
Ultra,
No,
ultra,
it's
ultra plus.
ultra super unleash. Okay, plus plus. Okay, the United States government in our war with Iran apparently has lost 45 MQ-9 Reaper drones to combat. Now, granted, this is what the Reaper drone was designed for as an ISR platform, intelligence, surveillance, reconnaissance, to go over hostile territory. And if something was going to be shot down, it was going to be an unmanned system, a drone. And we have lost 45 of those in Iran, which means that we're flying them at altitudes that the Iranians have pretty much dominated. If that had been aerial reconnaissance like we used to do in the 90s, right, with what we call TARPs and F-14, Tactical Aerial Reconnaissance Pod or something like that, we likely would have lost those. Egypt. I learned this morning from one of my fans who was on another site that I was on that the drone attack that we played a video of that was supposedly in Damietta, remember that, Wajeeh?
Yes.
On the natural gas tanker, that video was fake.
What?
That video was fake. It turns out that it was from an attack of a Ukrainian FP-1 drone on a Russian ship, and someone had changed the audio. Somebody out there is really working hard to get Egypt into that war, to the point where they faked the video. Because in the video was Arabic. In the video was Arabic. In the Russian one, it's Russian. So somebody doctored that video. There you have it. So even we can be taken in. If you guys remember, I resisted for weeks. I said, until I see a video, the Damietta attack is not real. And I said, boom. Then next thing you know, a video shows up out there of this attack. It looks like it looks like an Iranian drone, right? Turns out it was a Ukrainian attack that occurred 3 days earlier in the Black Sea. So propaganda works very fast. What's important for you and me and us who watch Black Man Spy is when you find out it's an error. Twice this week, I have retracted assessments that we have done. The supposed attack on Zuwaitina wasn't Zuwaitina. Somebody got the name wrong. It was Zawiya over there near Sabrata, which, by the way, Sabrata, Libya, there is a Roman amphitheater there, wallahi, to die for. So, sorry, little cultural aside there. In case you guys need to go to Libya next week, call me. I'll go with you. Okay? But I was going to live in Tripoli. My late wife's
before or after
company,
the war?
Before the revolution, my late wife's company, AECOM, hired her to be the project manager for the rebuilding of central Tripoli and the Tripoli market, which was going to be a multi-billion-dollar project. And guess what happened? It's a revolution. Revolution. They had to hire a ferry from Malta to come and get everybody out. We didn't even make it to the airport to get to Tripoli. I later went to Benghazi a few weeks later and was living in Benghazi. But I never I didn't get to move to Tripolitania. Okay, so the attack drone video is fake. Just remember that. Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps General Mohammad Reza Naqvi made an interesting video the other day. I won't play it for you because it's in Farsi, but he says this war has been actually very helpful to the Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps because prior to this war, we really didn't know what would work against the Americans. He says, now we know how to fight the Americans. Quote, the longer this war lasts, the more experience we gain. So we are essentially running a war-fighting academy for the Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps, right? And anybody who screws up gets killed. Anybody who survives is the guy that gets promoted. Uh,
Iran's second or first strongest weapon is time.
Time. The calendar. I'll give Larry Johnson that. The calendar, the most lethal weapon Iran has. However, according to Scott Bessent, the United States is throwing the calendar out the window. We don't care anymore if the world goes into a global collapse. So, hey, somebody says their dad, Donald Robidoux, my dad was stationed at Wheelus Air Base in Tripoli, and later
Wow.
changed to Umatika.
Hmm.
Umatika Air Base. Your father was there before
Mother of Matika.
1969 when a young captain named Muammar al Gaddafi overthrew the government, promoted himself to colonel, and then he became Aqid Gaddafi. And he changed the name of Wheelus Air Base, which was a U.S. Army Air Force air base since World War II, to Umatika Air Base, which was Tripoli's major fighter base there. Oh, Umatika. I've been there, by the way. I went and saw the old airplanes that we used to screw us up back in the 1980s. Man, when Libya was a threat. And next thing you know, I'm sitting in the cockpit of freaking MiG 25s from CERT. It was freaky. Okay. Last thing we're going to talk about today is the United Arab Emirates apparently is paying Iran off. 2 737 flights have flown to Iran carrying an estimated $1.5 billion each, in which they are apparently trying to get the Iranians to give them some sort of stop attacking our ADNOC tankers. Will it work? I don't know. But the Emiratis have billions of dollars of Iran's money in escrow, and they also have 2 tons of Iranian gold in their vaults. Those 2 tons of gold alone are worth $288 million because we calculated just before the show that that's 64,000 ounces of gold, probably in, what are the Burj Khalifa gold coins, right? And $288 million. So the Emirates is quietly flying them money, apparently. It is alleged. With that being said, Wajeeh, do you have anything to add before we go to questions? Because I saw you
Yes,
checking
I
your
have an interesting
TVs.
fact. Did
Yes,
you
tell us this.
know that the full title of Muammar al-Gaddafi was brotherly leader and guide of the revolution of the great socialist people, Libyan Arab what?
Jamahiriya,
Jamahiriya.
a word he made up. All right, it's supposed to be. It's a combination of republic and gang. So it's not a jama'ah, which is a group, right? It's a jama'iriya because it's a free group from their hora. So they've got plenty of horiya, which is Arabic for freedom. And they got some jama too, right? So it's a people's jama'oriya.
Oh
I
my
have
God.
a copy on my cabinet. Where's my cabinet back there? I have a copy of Gaddafi's Green Book that I got in Benghazi in 2011. And I have it in English and I have it in Arabic. And it became such a tourist attraction later on that they're actually expensive. They're hard to get now. Getting a copy of Gaddafi's Green Book, which is, it's his whole thing.
No, everyone was throwing it away in the trash because he was giving it away for free, but they all thought it was a joke. Now that
Oh,
he's killed and assassinated, it's a piece that everyone wants to get their hands on.
I have, all right, a 32 RPM album of music from Libya with Gaddafi's speeches in between. And I have always thought I should copy this and put it on CDs and or something and sell it. It's very rare. It was a propaganda, a record album that they had. And so because, I was working those missions back then, it was like Libyan stuff. Actually, I have some. It's funny because I have all this crazy stuff from the time we were fighting the Libyans. I have photos of, reconnaissance photos of Libyan MiG-25s, MiG-23s. I have a picture of a Nanuchka-class guided missile patrol boat that's on fire because they made the stupid decision of getting underway while we were gunning for them. So I've got all sorts of crazy Libyan stuff in his house. And I got stuff here from 2011 when I was in Benghazi for what we called, I'm not joking, Libyan Endless Summer 2011. It was just a crazy time in history. I like Libya. I like Libya a lot because they have lots of Land Rovers. Okay, let's go to questions, shall we? 33 and a third. You're right. 33 and a third album. That's how fast it was, not 32 RPM. Hey, we're all old here. Okay, the questions from today. I had some from yesterday. A lot of questions about the USS Abraham Lincoln because of the lovely audience of Black Man Spy podcast asking questions. The USS Abraham Lincoln is leaving the Indian Ocean. It is going on leave. The USS George W. Bush, if I'm not mistaken, the George Washington is now coming into theater to relieve the Abraham Lincoln in a couple of weeks. And the Lincoln will be going straight to Singapore. I wouldn't want to be in Singapore. Actually, I wouldn't mind being in Singapore because we'll be all down at the Long Bar, knocking back Singapore slings, if you know what I'm talking about, at Raffles Hotel. Meet me there. Yes.
I have a question.
Yes.
Regarding this. I was after you brought it up yesterday, I did some digging and I saw some of the family members talking to the press, revealing what's happening on the boat. Morale is very low. Yes, on the ship. Sorry, morale is low. Soldiers are already wanting to go home. They haven't been to a port in 200 days. And in many ways, I've read many of the parents said, "I don't know how I can feel proud of my son fighting a war, killing innocent civilians." That's not my. I'm quoting here. That's not my statement.
Of course. Be proud of your son. Just don't be proud of the stupidity that sent him there.
And now you have actually and the other thing is that the parents don't know why their kids are fighting this war, and the kids or the people who are fighting this war don't know why they're fighting this war either.
Yep. I know. Checking the news here. So, listen, the way that you explain this to people is this. The people who were carrying out that mission did not ask for this. They didn't ask for this. What they asked for was for them to advance their career, and they were sent on this mission. There was no need to have this war. This is the first real, unquestionable oil war. Real oil war, done for no other reason than Trump thought he could collapse Iran and steal their oil. He said so a dozen times. So it didn't happen. That has shown the limits of American power, but the young men and women of the armed forces had nothing to do with this. They did their job. Trump was a moron. He was ignorant. He was, he didn't do anything for our nation except show our enemies how weak we are.
That's crazy.
Yep. So actually, I'm typing up something because I'm asking a question of ChatGPT for something that somebody said. Let me see. Holy cow. Somebody said, hey, how much is a Singapore sling at the Long Bar at the Raffles Hotel in Singapore? Funny you should mention it. Well, according to their website, the Singapore sling in Singapore in US dollars, ready? For one, is $44.
I was so close.
Hold it. But if you get it without alcohol, it's $38.
I was still close.
Okay. And you get free peanuts, right? These free whole peanuts, which is funny. But you do, actually it comes out to $52 because there is a mandatory 10% service charge and a 9% goods and services tax on everything in Singapore. Singapore is really a country for, if you're not paid to go to Singapore or you're not from there, you shouldn't be there. Or if you're not a Chinese billionaire, because that's where all the Chinese that cannot completely get away from China, that's where they go. And they will go to every luxury store in Singapore and pay 30% higher prices in Paris to spend their money because they got to spend their money. So there you go. $52 a drink.
They have so many Michelin star restaurants there that are so cheap, though.
Have you seen the movie? What is the movie? Crazy Rich Asians.
Oh my God, yeah. I
I've
love that
not
movie.
watched that whole film, but I think they're ethnic Chinese. Are they ethnic Chinese from Singapore background?
Dynasties.
Because right. So there you have it. $50 once you've paid the tab. But there is a really, really nice gift shop in the Raffles Hotel. And don't forget 9% GST on top of everything. But you've got to leave the long bar. You got to go out through the gallery and then you turn left at the when you enter the hotel side door from the long bar. And that's where you go to the gift shop. All right. So glad I could help you out in your tourism. Did you guys know that I was actually a travel security writer for Condé Nast Traveler at one point? So know a little bit of something about it. I get around. Okay, the last questions of the day. We have somebody says, I'm supposed to be writing about a slave rebellion. Now I want an Ice Bear t-shirt. we bear bears, right? That is actually a really good TV show. It's about three hipster bears living outside of San Francisco, right? Trying to get laid. And they're all on like Tinder and everything. It's really funny. So, let me see any questions. What is really going on, according to Michael C? Trump does not seem to care about the mess he's created. Not really interested in fixing it either. So who is making money and feeding him? All he is saying to himself, as every other Republican, including me, has done, I'll just leave the mess for Democrats to clean up. No, I think he personally intends to stay there based on all the crazy things that he's doing in Washington, D.C. Ignoring the laws. I mean, he was ordered to take his name off the Kennedy Center. Now they are putting a new name on it, restored and renovated by President Donald J. Trump. This is mental illness, okay? And I learned a very
I think
interesting
he
phrase.
gets off on having his name put on things. He generally that's a fetish for him. Like Trump Tower, Trump steak, Trump whiskey, Trump water, Trump golf, Trump. He wants everything to straight of Trump. He wants he wants everything to have his name on it. Genuinely, that's something. That's something there.
They said that this is because he's reaching his mortality stage, where he is coming to terms with the fact that he is going to die. Because he could, let me tell you, Veuve Clicquot could be pouring out in front of my house from that giant Magnum bottle that we keep on standby. And I even have another one. I have a Grand Dam for emergency openings, right? So, boop, boop. And you'll know when it's happening because they'll be in front of my house. I'll send out the address to everybody. Come get your champagne, y'all. But all joking aside, okay. Donald Trump is reaching his mortality, and he said, what was it? Maggie Haberman said he spent 70% of his day doing interior design and trying to put a permanent stamp on Washington, D.C. And as Congressman Ted Lieu said yesterday, he said, this is my red line for anyone running for president of the United States. This is a very powerful Congressman, Ted Lieu. He said, you must remove everything Trump has ever done to earn my vote. His name off of everything. If the ballroom is half built, you have to tear it down and restore the East Wing, the Rose Garden, tear up the fucking helicopter pad that he's already torn up twice, right? Take his name off of everything, bring the bronze statues down in Memorial Bridge. They're bronze. And you can actually see the musculature on those bronze statues. That's what they were supposed to do. And he puts cheap gold leaf on it. And it's all going to wear off. By the way, gold leaf wears because you know he didn't use $5 million of gold leaf. You can go to Michael's and buy gold leaf for $10 a pack and glue it onto your teddy bear and make a gold teddy bear, but it will blow off. This stuff wasn't professionally done. He wants to take, it's mind boggling. He's just mentally ill. And this war was supposed to be his Genghis Khan moment. I took down Iran. He took down America. And the Iranians, what did the commander of the IRGC said? The longer the war lasts, the more expertise we gain in fighting America. Erase his memory. And there's actually a technical term for that. Destrutio memoriae. And it sounds like a Harry Potter spell. Destrutio memoriae. Where's my wand?
It does.
I got a Harry Potter wand, because when I used to work for Warner Brothers, they gave us free passes to the Harry Potter experience in Los Angeles, and it was actually very cool. But destrutio memoriae, destroying the memory, which means erasing the memory. That's what the pharaohs did. And somebody wrote a big write-up of it in Substack yesterday, eliminating all knowledge of that person. The Russians called it airbrushing them out. Airbrushing them out. So, let me see. What's your take on the plane switcheroo? I want to do a whole show on that. As a matter of fact, I want Jacob on that. And Wajeeh, I don't know if you want to be in on that. Otherwise, we'll bring Dexter Ingram in and we'll have a triple spy day. But you want to? Okay, let me talk to Jacob.
Sure, you can have Dexter on if you want. That's fine.
We need to have that. I got thoughts. But my favorite part of it is because I tweeted about this. The man's a coward, a yellow belly coward. Okay. If I had been on that airplane, I'd be like,
right. In Arabic, we call him حيوان كلب 66 ألف.
So Chris Shapar says, Malcolm, it's damnatio memoriae. Damnatio memoriae. I'm gonna get my wand out for that. I got three things that I cherish. I got my Alan Turing bear. I have my lightsaber from when I was knighted as a Jedi Knight by Mark Hamill. And then I have my Harry Potter wand that I got from Warner Brothers. So I'm going to be damnatio memoriae. Some things. I think we should have a segment of the show where we identify something that must be eliminated from there. Everything Trump touches dies. You're absolutely right. All right. Well, thank you for coming to this episode of Black Man Spy. I hope you had as much fun as we had. The internet is stable. I have learned, you guys remember when I went to the Wi-Fi, when I went to the internet cafe, 2 counties lost their fiber optic, and we're finding out there is instability in the system. And in fact, I told them I need to have this stable. So my internet service provider, because I'm a big frog in a little pond, is coming out to check the stability for me personally, from the fiber optic to the house, and then from the house to the routers.
To say,
yes.
Today, your internet was perfect.
Khalas.
Maybe HD.
Khalas. HD. I love it, right? Okay, you guys stop guessing what HD means. It means high definition. Steven, I run speed check every show. I'm in the 700 megabytes per second upload in Wi-Fi. I am 1 meter from the router when I'm not directly connected to it. All right, guys, thank you so much. The jokes down in the comments by our paid subscribers are hilarious. You guys have to become paid subscribers if you want to become part of the community. That is the Black Man Spy community. Did you guys know that there actually is a Black Man Spy teddy bear? Somebody wrote that, right? Black Spy bear. I actually had it's in my memoir. I actually had a teddy bear that I used to carry around, and it's in my fiction book that I wrote about there. And
I
if
have to
you
go to
don't,
Build a Bear and make you one now.
oh no, already got one, and it's not Alan Turing. It does not wear a tie. And by the way, Alan Turing may have worn a tie, but what he's missing is his little gas mask case and his little helmet, because that's what's in his office at Bletchley Park. His teddy bear, by the way, that is a copy of Alan Turing's teddy bear that his mother gave, or that his family gave to Bletchley Park after he passed and became famous, after Imitation Game came out. And I am not going to tell you, do not tell everybody, but that's how you know if you've been to Bletchley Park, you've seen his bear. It's cute. Next to 4 freaking Enigma machines. I'm like, what? I can't believe this. This case is blowing my mind. And there's a teddy bear in the middle of it.
Maybe I should talk to Build a Bear, see if they could make me one with a fez hat.
They could. We should do that for you. Okay, thanks, guys. We will see you all tomorrow. If you're watching this on YouTube, subscribe to YouTube. We're up to 179,000 followers. Thank you very much. We're going to hit 250 if I keep doing Mario Nuafa. They want me to debate, what's his name there? Larry Johnson, or whatever his name is.
The CIA.
Yeah. We'll see about that. But if you are watching this on Substacks, that means you are cool and groovy. So we will see you tomorrow. Mr. Global will be on later tonight on the Black Man Spy podcast. I will put it out on Substack, and you can all watch that. So thanks for coming. Wajeeh, see you tomorrow.
See you.
Okay, shukr badai. Bye-bye, guys.